we ended up with a 4-year vesting agreement and 30% of the stock in the company and no employment contract. And I would strongly advise anybody watching this program not to do it that way.
How should they do it?
Well, certainly get your own lawyer.
Sandy and Len soon discovered what many entrepreneurs before them have learned, that the company you founded is no longer the place you work.
It was August 28th, 1990, but who's counting?
Okay, and what happened that day?
Well, quite simply, I got fired.
We had discussed this event, and that sooner or later the venture capitalists always want to get rid of the founders. That's just part of Don's formula.
Both were very critical and helpful people to launching Cisco, no question about it. Len is a very, very good technician and recognizes that he has little interest or little ability in management and positions himself accordingly. So in the company, he was the chief technical officer. Sandy, who is a person very committed to a number of aspects of business, is or was very acutely sensitive to how well the customers were treated.
Don's opening words to me, the first time I ever met that man, I wouldn't have known him from The Man on the Moon, where I hear you're everything that's wrong with Cisco. I'm also the reason why there is a Cisco.
What went wrong back at the ranch? Well, the end of the story is that one day, with the president, John Mortgage's prior approval, 7 vice presidents of Cisco Systems showed up in my office. We had a reasonably civil meeting in our conference room, the outcome of which was a very simple alternative. Either I relented and allowed the president to fire Sandy Lerner, or they, all 7, would quit.
It was probably time for Len and I to go. And that Len and I do not have company personalities, and I think we were finding it difficult to work in a larger organization. I think the way that it happened was wrong.
The most regrettable thing, I would think, from their point of view, is they lost perspective and urgently sold their shares in Cisco at a time when the valuation of the company was a mere $1 billion or so. Had they somehow or other suffered this outrage with a little more financial wisdom, they might have sold when the company's market value was $10 billion or $20 billion, or maybe even now at $56 billion.
The pain of not having $18 billion must be slightly lessened by the pleasure of having $100 million to your name. What to do with all that money? Sandy Lerner's foundation acquired the manor house in the English village where Jane Austen wrote her novels.
This came up for sale in 1992, and I, for some very illogical reason, bought it thinking that it would be just a wonderful place for the Center for the Study of Early English Women's Writing.
Today, Sandy is also the proprietor of a successful nail polish empire, Urban Decay, which specializes in grunge colors called Bruise, Mildew, and Acid Rain. Whatever would Jane think? Pride and Prejudice or Sense and Sensibility? Len Bosack now runs a Seattle technology company. His charitable donations fund the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Len is not kidding. He's serious about the universe. Very, very serious.
It's one of the most important questions that a sentient being can ever formulate, and that is, are we alone? Either answer, if you could obtain it, is of tremendous import. But you surely do not expect little green men to come and present you with a message. On the other hand, if you don't listen, if you don't, in any organized way, ask the question of the universe, what if it has an answer waiting for you? Think of what you've missed.
Len and Sandy left the company when it was worth $1 billion. Today, Cisco Systems is worth $60 billion. In the intervening years, Cisco and its competitors went from steady to spectacular to incredible rates of growth, much of it fueled by the next great internet invention, the World Wide Web. And look what became of Len and Sandy's living room.